What is up, everybody? Solomon here. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. I had this video lined up for yesterday, just did not have time to put it out. Found some interesting documentation, something coming out of Boston Consulting Group for May. I'm not going to say that this ties Ripple directly into working with Wise. If you're not aware what Wise is from a payment standpoint, please go check it out. But it's just interesting with the verbiage and I found a bunch of stuff I'm going to go over with you guys today. A lot of this dealing in kind of adoption, and where this space is at, where it's going as well. So first and foremost, International Telecommunications Union, dealing with a lot of standards and draft standards that go out. Found this, so let me find this real quick. So this is the Ministry of Communications in India. Looking like they are certainly looking into accounting and billing aspects and Internet of Things ecosystems and integrated approach that is going to utilize distributed ledger technology. And again, usage of distributed ledger technology to handle policy, regulatory, and economic issues in the international telecommunications / ICT domain. Both of these coming out of the Ministry of Communications in India. Wrath of Kahneman putting out a good tweet. We're going to go over some stuff surrounding ESG and green initiatives here today, but I did want to kind of highlight this. If you don't follow Wrath of Kahneman on Twitter, it's at WKAHNEMAN. Probably one of the best researchers for Ripple and XRP that is out there to date, and putting out the Global Blockchain Business Council's annual report highlighting Ripple's green initiatives. Mentions the XRPL as carbon neutral. Ripple also is a member of the Global Blockchain Business Council. So if you want to check that out, go to Wrath of Kahneman's Twitter. Moving forward, this is what I did find that I found a little bit interesting yesterday. This is reimagining the future of finance. There's a lot in here. It's 44 pages long. Fintech's coming of age, but certainly talking a good amount about blockchain as well. So distributed ledger technology, generative AI, API-based open connectivity under distributed ledger technology. They're talking about as a global blockchain-based infrastructure, distributed ledger technology can be used to create a worldwide transactional and settlement platform using stablecoins akin to an alternative payments network. Platform is predicted to be fast, inexpensive, transparent, borderless, and secure, thus eliminating the need for intermediaries and reducing the time and cost of settling payments. Distributed ledger technology also offers a secure, tamper-proof global identity verification system that protects the privacy of the individual while also facilitating know your customer authentication, etc., etc. One thing interesting in here is the discussions surrounding Ripple. So while payments led the last era, B2B to X and B2B are expected to lead the next. And it goes into talking about cross-border payments. The first part of the fintech journey was led by payments, representing 40% of all fintech revenue in 2021. Since 2000, payments fintechs have accounted for roughly 25% of cumulative equity funding to the tune of $120 billion. Yet, this is still a story with significant room to grow, especially in promising subsegments such as those addressed below. Overall, payments will remain the largest fintech segment in 2030. They go into cross-border payments here. Each year, over $20 trillion is moved across countries by large corporations, incurring $120 billion in transaction costs. What I want to get into is kind of the end here. As globalization advances further, the need for better cross-border payment solutions will increase. It's also wise to build redundancies into the system for occasions when main payments rails encounter problems. So those alternative rails do become necessary, not only from a speed, from an efficiency standpoint, but when traditional rails encounter problems. DLT, once proven fully viable, could significantly disrupt this space. Blockchain companies such as Ripple, via its RippleNet payment network, are already working on partnerships with various financial institutions and payments providers around the world to facilitate real-time cross-border payments. Then this says, see Spotlight number 1. So let me see if I can get us to Spotlight number 1. Spotlight number 1 ties you directly to Wise. So again, there's a little bit more within this from some of Wise's old tweets and stuff like that. But I have to wonder, is this some sort of confirmation that Ripple is working with Wise? I'm not saying that, but it does go into that Ripple definition. And then it says Ripple is working with multiple financial institutions. And then it says, see Spotlight number 1. Spotlight number 1 directly pulls you back into Wise. If you're not aware, Wise was founded in 2010 in the UK with a goal of making international money transfers more affordable and accessible. Today, the company has operations in 170 countries, supports 50 currencies, and serves more than 5 million individuals, 300,000 small and medium enterprises in a profitable way. Wise has thrived against incumbents, supported by the success of startups such as PayPal, which help build public trust in online payments. Wise offers a faster, cheaper, and more convenient alternative to traditional banking standards for individuals and small and medium enterprises to move money internationally. Roughly 90% of transfers are handled within 24 hours, with 50% of them instant, compared with 2 to 5 business days through traditional channels. The average fee is 0.64% compared to the standard that exists out there, which is around 3%. Wise has found better ways to serve its customers by expanding its portfolio to include multi-currency accounts, debit cards, and business accounts. Such value adds increased usage of their core product and helps individuals and small and medium enterprises manage their money, which ultimately creates more loyalty. Its partnerships with financial institutions, especially involving a payroll and HR platforms, have lent it credibility and expanded its reach. All right, again, I just find verbiage interesting all the time. Going into this, via its RippleNet payment network, are already working on partnerships with various financial institutions and payments providers around the world to facilitate real-time cross-border payments. It pulls you right to Spotlight number 1, and Spotlight number 1 is a description and overview of Wise. Wise is pretty big. Again, I'm not defining that this is definitely Ripple was working with Wise, but that document comes from Boston Consulting Group. Maybe it's just an overarching example where it says see Spotlight 1 at the end of the paragraph. I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. Now, this is all the way back in 2018. We're not using Ripple tech right now, but not ruling out the possibility. Always considering new ways to make TransferWise better for its customers. And then it goes into somebody asking again, Mike Manfield in 2022. Any news on the Ripple tech yet? They keep saying no, not yet, not yet, not yet, all the way up until March 1st of this year. So, and this document just came out again. This is May of 2023, so this is brand new. So yeah, I did find that a little bit interesting. All right. This is just kind of some general adoption aspects. This is GameStop. GameStop's 2022 annual report just released, and there are tons and tons, 14 blockchain hits within this, talking about they may even invest into certain digital assets. They're certainly leveraging blockchain. This is also very interesting. So we are led to believe that the United States is pretty far behind in multiple regards. And then you stumble across documents like this. This is a document from the NIST. NIST is the National Institute of Standards and Technology. They're a government agency. Agency of the United States Department of Commerce, whose mission is to promote American innovation and industrial competitiveness. Now, this is U.S. Department of Commerce, obviously. I'm not going to read through this whole thing. It's 322 pages, but they go deep into pretty much every single crypto consensus mechanism, code base. Hedera Hashgraph is mentioned in here. Stellar is mentioned in here. Ripple is mentioned in here. Cobalt, which we haven't heard of for quite some time, is mentioned in here as well. And just pretty gigantic documentation, really crazy deep dive from NIST, obviously, Department of Commerce initiative. Talks a ton about crypto. So maybe we are, I don't know, maybe it's all a dog and pony show, and we are just sitting here waiting for the show to end to see whenever these things really do flush out. When you see a study that's 322 pages coming from a government agency that talks about a lot of the intricacies of a lot of the different assets and blockchains and ledgers that we all talk about all the time, that's that in depth, I just have to kind of raise my eyebrows. On top of this, King's College in London and the University of Bucharest in Romania putting out a document about the energy consumption of popular cryptocurrencies and the potential to build in to exchanges, centralized exchanges and things like that, what the carbon footprints of these digital assets might be. And then they did a study to see if retail participants were more likely to buy energy inefficient, which they term as Bitcoin, and I think Doge, and energy efficient, which they have Hedera Hashgraph right here. They also say Ethereum is energy efficient, kilowatts per transaction, 0.002 for Ethereum. Hedera Hashgraph, less than 0.001. I think they did find that there is a positive correlation where if you actually do put the energy efficiency or inefficiency of certain digital assets on centralized exchanges when retail participants make purchases, that retail participants do tend to, if they see that in front of them, choose the digital assets that are more energy efficient. And I mean, I think these things are really important to pay attention to. Obviously, this is a really small case study, but, and this again, 4th of May, 2023. So small case study, but also, you know, I don't know, given where all these governments and financial institutions are headed towards 2023, trying to be carbon neutral, 2050, pretty much globally carbon negative, I think it's something to certainly pay attention to. Economic insights, trends, and challenges, the future of blockchain tech and transactional businesses. I forget if there was, I don't know if this was Hashgraph. All right, I forget why I had that one up. This was all loaded up yesterday. All right, this is the Ministry of Finance in Japan as well, promoting and managing financial digitalization. So this just shows you where we're going. Again, this is very new. With rapid progress in financial digitalization, Asian countries are working on development of central bank digital currencies and strengthening connectivity of cross-border payments. At the same time, challenges exist in mitigating associated risks to, among others, the stability of the financial system. In order to maximize benefits of financial digitalization and minimize risks, Japan will collaborate and cooperate with Asian countries through the following: central bank digital currency related capacity development assistance through the International Monetary Fund, AMRO's enhanced support in financial digitalization through its renewed framework of surveillance and technical assistance, etc., etc., etc. And a couple of things here at the end. This is written testimony of Nomini Rubin, who is the head of global policy at Hedera. This is through the House of Representatives. You can go and find this document. This is new as well. This is 2023. April 27th is when this came out. And this is talking about Nomini saying, I speak today on behalf of only one part of the decentralized Hedera network ecosystem, Hedera Hashgraph LLC, a U.S. company whose members consist of 28 leading global companies and universities that comprise the Hedera Governing Council, including Aberdeen, Avery Dennison, Boeing, Chainlink, DBS, Dell, Dentons, Deutsche Telekom, DLA Piper, EDF, FPOS, FIS, Google, IBM, the Indian Institute of Technology, LG Electronics, the London School of Economics, Magalu, Nomura, ServiceNow, Shinhan Bank, Standard Bank, Swirlds, Tata Communications, Ubisoft, University College of London, Wipro, and Zane Group. Now, after I get a second to catch my breath here, he does put a really good thought process together around why public blockchains need digital assets. And it's kind of a fascinating think piece here. What we call the internet is essentially a decentralized set of computers talking to each other through open protocols on a public network. Each protocol was created by a multi-stakeholder governing body. Those protocols like TCP/IP, DNS, HTTPS, etc. have never stopped evolving to enable additional features and capabilities that benefit society. Initially, internet protocols just enabled a handful of institutions to share information and send direct messages, aka the read-only web or Web 1. Protocol innovations enabled people around the world to self-publish and securely message anyone, aka read and write web or Web 2, what we know as Web 2, unlocking the informational revolution. Those Web 2 protocol innovations enabled the secure sharing of images and videos, secure credit card transactions, unlocking e-commerce and mobile apps connectivity, unlocking ubiquitous use of the internet anywhere. Public blockchains are often referred to as Web 3 because they deliver the next major protocol innovation. Public blockchains enable unprecedented personal control, the ability to read, write, and own your own data and assets without dependency on centralized intermediaries. Unlike in Web 2, where a user account only exists on a single company's servers, in Web 3, the entire blockchain network records account ownership. Individuals themselves hold their cryptographic keys that enable access to that account. That means that in Web 3, user accounts are persistent across an unlimited array of services that exist on top of blockchain networks without requiring users to perpetually create new accounts and passwords. Really fascinating, though. I mean, there's a lot in here. It's not way too long. I certainly suggest reading it. It's only 7 pages. It's talking about the ability of blockchains to provide immutable, auditable, and order-based records, enabling businesses and organizations to store, track, and monitor data in new and powerful ways, data storage, value exchange, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. HBAR Bull putting out a good tweet today. Hedera just broke its own record for real daily TPS, knocking at the door of 1,000 transactions per second actually occurring on network, and over 80 million total for the day. So, and if you guys didn't see this, I put out an interview through Genfinity. Certainly recommend you guys going to check it out. When we talk about transactions per second, and you look back in 2022, the Hedera network was very, very low as far as real transactions per second occurring on the network. Since 2023 occurred, Mance Harmon talks about essentially every 3 weeks breaking 1 billion transactions occurring. And I ask Mance, there's a full interview here. Go to the Genfinity's Lighthouse if you want to check it out. I ask if that, if we should see more, is that scale or is that just a drop in the bucket? And I'll play 1 second of this for you guys.
Should we, I don't know. Let me think of the best way to phrase this. Is 1 billion transactions every 3 weeks over time going to be just a drop in the bucket for what's actually occurring on this network?
Look, I think that we haven't even begun to scale. No, I mean, this is like the first drop in the bucket, and as the use cases continue to mature and the number of large-scale, both enterprise and large-scale consumer-focused use cases begin to come online, then what we're going to see over time is, we're going to look back 10 years from now and remember the days that we were only logging 1 billion transactions every 3 weeks.
So, I mean, there's a whole interview there. We've got a ton more interviews to put out from Consensus as well. I think Matt Hamilton, who is now at Filecoin, who was previously at BitTensor and Tau. So you've got, the storage aspects with Filecoin, and that interview was fascinating to me. I think we're going to be putting that out through Genfinity either tomorrow or Sunday. There was some statistics dropped in that interview from Matt that were just ridiculous. He talks about Tau and BitTensor and the AI aspects. He talks about his time at Ripple and the convergence of the multiple facets of technology in Web3, whether it be AI or storage or payments. We have Ben Jorgensen, who is the CEO of Constellation, and DAG, who I was able to interview. That's a really good one. We're going to put that out this week as well. Quincy from XTC. We've got the CMO at BCW Group. There's so many interviews. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, though. The Boston Consulting Group document that literally talks about Ripple making multiple relationships with various financial institutions and payments providers, and then throwing you to Spotlight number 1. And Spotlight number 1 takes you directly to Wise. If I can find it again here, yeah, Spotlight number 1, Wise. So again, I'm not saying that Wise is utilizing Ripple tech. We know as far as March 1st that they said that they weren't. So maybe somebody should ask them from this Boston Consulting Group document if that means anything. If not, like I said, still pretty fascinating to see BCG calling out Ripple, saying that the need for parallel rails outside of the traditional purview of the traditional financial rails are 100% necessary that are running on DLT in case something happens to the traditional rails. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Trying to get back into the swing of things. Apologize, I didn't do one yesterday, but I will talk to you guys when I talk to you. All right, bye.